Hello and welcome to Excel Quickies. Today we shall be looking at the practical application of VLOOKUP, under which we will be looking at returning values and matching values. So let's dive right in. We will be using a local food business to illustrate the returning values. So here we have the food list. Okay, so we have the codes of each food, which is very important, then the food list, and then the price. So we have tuzafi, benku, tilapia, chicken, among others, and then each product has a code. Alright, so this is how it would look like when we type in TOU, which is 2, and press enter. It brings tuzafi instantly, and then the price of tuzafi. So when I press 1, which is the quantity 1, it gives me 5. So that is basically returning values. You instruct Excel to return a value when you punch in something. So let me put another one again. So fish is FIS. When I press enter, it returns fish, and when I press the quantity 2, it returns 10, and basically that is it. So let's get into how this is done, and to illustrate that clearly, I have created a new one which would all work together with. So we'll begin with the dates. We have the dates. Let's caps them. So we have the dates, and then we say is equal to today brackets. I am not explaining this in this video, but I'm sure in subsequent videos I will explain how today and other time and date manipulation works. So enter. Alright, so we have the codes of the product. So we have code here, then we have food, then we have quantity, we have price, and we have amount. Alright, so VLOOKUP basically stands for vertical lookup, and it is a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column in order to return a value from a different column in the same row. Mostly the explanation is quite difficult to understand, and so a practical illustration would do justice to the explanation. So let's cut the chase and move on. We have the lookup value, which is TOU. We have here, and we'll enter our VLOOKUP formula, which is equal to VLOOKUP brackets open. What's our lookup value? This. Then the next is what? So lookup value, then there's a comma, table array, comma, column index number, comma, and then range lookup. So we put a comma, then we'll go to the table. So the table is our food list. So I highlight my table, then I put a comma. Then the next is what? A column index. What am I looking up for? When I type TOU, what should come? That is the lookup or the returning. So I want it to return 2, and 2 is in the second. It's in the second column. So I put 2. Do I want it to come as an exact match or an approximate match? I want it to come as an exact match. So exact match, I type my false. Then brackets close. Enter. It returns this. And the same is how I'll go about the price. So it's equal to VLOOKUP brackets open. My lookup value is still TUO, comma. Then I go to my table, then I highlight my table, then comma, and then the index number is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an index number 4, so I put 4, then comma. I want exact, so I put 0. Remember the first time I wrote false. Now Excel understands false as 0, so whenever you input 0, it's the same as inputting false. So brackets close, then I press enter, so it returns this value to me. And under normal circumstance, you would have just dragged down to autofill it, but when you autofill, it comes in as NA, which is not appropriate for what we are doing. So Control Z, and then let's work out the amount. So it's equal to, amount is basically equal to price times quantity, enter, and you realize that it comes dash. That is because there is no quantity, so when I put 1, then it returns 5. So I'm now going to drag down to see what happens. Okay, so this is how it comes, and I don't think this is attractive enough because it expects me to put in and it appears, which is not attractive enough. So what I'm going to do is I will instruct Excel not to bring in the NA. So we'll say kindly check it up here. If brackets open, our lookup value, which is this, is blank. Brackets open, we enter our lookup value, brackets close, comma, then so if it is really blank, let's make it blank. That is basically the language of Excel, because it says that the logical test, which is the lookup value, and then if it is true that it is blank, then let's leave it what? Blank. So I go and close my brackets here because I created a new brackets, enter, and then pull down. Now realize that it has all changed to blank. So I'm going to use the same formula for this. So to make my work faster, I just highlight this, see, enter, then I come to paste it here, then I close the brackets, enter, then I pull down. So I would have to do same for this since it comes out with this, but now I'm going to retype it again so as for us to see. So come here and I say if brackets open is blank, brackets open, what is blank? This, that is our B8 or the 2, then brackets close, then I put a comma, then I say blank, and I put another comma, and then I close the brackets. So you make sure it is well written. VLOOKUP is very sensitive, so perfect, and then I pull down, so automatically it's done. But there's one thing that is missing. Now let's watch this. We have sheet A4, A16, come here, A5, A17, come here, A6, A8. That is absolutely not what I want. I need my sheet to be complete. I must not change. So I'll put my $sign here. The $signs prevent changes when you want to do autofill. Alright, so enter, then pull. Now let's watch. So the first one is what? sheet A4 D16, sheet A4 D16, sheet A4 D16, right? So I'm going to do the same here to keep them all intact. This prevents unintended errors. Enter. So I put. All right, so we are almost done. So I put my total here, total, then I put my count here, then I put my amount here. So count would sum up the quantity bought, so we'll have is equal to sum brackets open, then enter. So the total quantity bought is 6, and amount will sum up the total amount, so which is equal to sum brackets open, this, enter. So when we type in Wache, WKY, enter, it brings Wache, and when I enter the value, the quantity I want to, it brings in the figure. So thank you very much, and this is the end of the first example. So let's move to example 2. So with example 2, so just as we did for the food business, we can also use VLOOKUP to look up the values of maybe the numbers or contact addresses of certain people. So for instance, I use the same VLOOKUP to pull out the number. So I have Shaibu, so when I type Shaibu, it brings Shaibu's number, which is 024, and then where Shaibu lives, or the address of Shaibu. So I would urge you all to try something like this, and you can send it via my email address, which is mwompini@gmail.com. I'll gladly go through, and if there are any additions or subtractions, we'll get on with it together. Alright, so let's move to illustration 3, and this is using VLOOKUP to match values. Now I have two sets of lists, list 1 and list 2. These are names of people, and so I want to know if the names here recur here. Okay, so I'm matching values. So what I'll do is to instruct Excel using VLOOKUP to do the matching for me. So VLOOKUP brackets open, I'm looking up the value this, and the table I'm looking at is just this table. So this is not a table, this is just a list, and then the column is obviously column 1, and I want it to be exact, so I put 0, and don't forget your $signs to ensure that you play in the same table. Enter. So that shows that Jacob is not in this list, and when I pull down to autofill, I realize that Anissa is in this list. I think this is Anissa. Rihanna is in this list. Vishal is in this list, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much. Try your hands on it, and you can mail it to me on my email address. Enjoy the rest of your time. Bye bye.